every day I'm like hitting the reset button and I'm doing it over and over and over again to the point where I was like, what am I doing? I am not enjoying any of these things. I am like really feeling like I have to do these things. And if I don't do them, that means I'm not taking good care of myself. Fostering connection through vulnerability, the People Pleaser podcast validates struggles, celebrates growth, and inspires positive change. Together, let's embrace authenticity, challenge patterns, and evolve with compassion. Welcome to the People Pleaser podcast. It's Corey. I have missed you. I hope you're doing well. I've been doing well, and I have some news. It's not like, it's news. It's not groundbreaking, but I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to reconnect and come to you with a bit of a plan, with a bit of a vision, because the truth is that I have been in a bit of a funk, and I've been rubbing up against this funk for a while, and I've had some revelations, some that I've kind of been tiptoeing around in different episodes over time, but it's becoming clearer and clearer in my mind of what's been contributing to this funk and what I need to do to get out of it. So it has been a couple months since I last recorded. That mostly has to do with the fact that I've started a new job. I am working at the local high school here in Port Townsend, and I'm on the counseling team, which has been just such a great addition to my life. So I transitioned out of my role working for my husband. I was doing the administrative side of his pressure washing company, and I was really happy that I was able to come in and help and really learn about his company too, like just become invested in his business and what it's all about, and be able to engage with him from like a more educated and informed way. Not just him like talking to me about things I don't understand, but me really getting this inside scoop. But the reality is that it wasn't a job that I felt excited about. I was happy to be helping, but when it came down to feeling like I was aligned with my purpose, my skill set, what I really want to be doing, and the income I want to be bringing into our family. When this position popped up with the school, both my husband and I agreed, like, yeah, go for that. That sounds right up your alley. So it was also really important to have his support and just that like additional advocacy. Obviously, these are types of decisions that I've most often in my life only really made on my own. So it's kind of a new experience to be bringing in my husband to like some of my career choices. And I'm really glad that he had my back and supported this and was able to like see the value in it that I also saw. So when did I start? The beginning of October 6th. And I just had my first week-long paid holiday for Thanksgiving here in the States. And so it was a good, let's see, 6 to 8 weeks of just like 6 weeks of just like working, like just like getting into the role, really learning, immersing myself. And I already feel so welcomed, so at home. I love the kids. I love the work. I believe in it. I love being in the community in this kind of way. And initially I had some fear just around working with like all of the teenagers in my town, because it is a small town. There is one high school, And I just kind of worried about the boundaries of that. Like, oh God, am I going to be running into students all over the place? Am I, blah, blah, blah. That has not been the case yet. And obviously I'm still new, but so far it just kind of seems like very chill. Like everybody is just like kind of in the same boat, We're all, they're probably not wanting to run into their counselor at Safeway either. So, yeah, it's been really positive. I'm feeling really grounded. And with that, it's been a huge adjustment in terms of my schedule. I am working most days starting at between 7 and 7:30 in the morning till 3:30, 4 o'clock every day. And because of the time of year, that means that I'm going to work in the dark and coming home in the dark. So historically, this has been when my productivity really starts to decline and I just go into full hibernating bear mode where as soon as I'm home, I'm into my sweats, I'm thinking about dinner, and then I'm thinking about just like laying on the couch and just vegging out for the rest of the night. And the revelation that I'm coming to, which actually came to me through my master's program, is that this has been a trauma response. This has been my way of protecting myself. Right now, I am in this really freaking awesome course for my master's where it's a 10-week course, which is one of the longer courses in the program. And I've been assigned into a group of 3. And every week, the group of 3 meet on Zoom and we do practice sessions. And every week every session we rotate between being the client, the therapist, and the observer. So we all have been kind of assigned like our pairings within our group of 3. And so I've been working with the same counselor, and that's in air quotes because, we're counselors in training, for almost 10 weeks. And every week we are like basically having real life counseling sessions. And then we get to kind of debrief. But the amazing part about it is that it's real life shit. Like I'm talking about real life challenges, like real life struggles. We've been advised to keep things, within our skill range, not throw them like massive curveballs. But my group of 3, like we are such a cohesive group, so supportive of one another. And we just like go where we need to go. And we are always debriefing a ton. Some of the sessions are being observed by our professor, so we'll be getting graded on those observed sessions. But the theme, the problem, the challenge that I've been bringing to my session is this like hyper regimented way of living where I have essentially made all of my self-care practices into like cold, hard rules that cannot be broken. And I've created this real rigidity to the way I navigate life. And it really ramped up when I got this new job because I had really been loving having total control of my schedule when I was working for my husband, being able to wake up whenever I wanted, being able to start my day when I wanted. I just had like the full day to get the work done, but it was on my own schedule, and that could look very different day to day depending on what I needed. So I was doing workouts right in the middle of the day. I was going for dog walks. I was, doing all kinds of things out of order or just in a random order. And when I started this job, I really was like, I don't want to lose all of those self-care things. Like I've worked so hard to get here. There's been so many years of like self-abandonment and like not taking care of myself at all because I've been tending to like super problematic relationships or, jobs that like completely burn me out. And I finally feel like I've harnessed some control over like okay, I deserve these things. I want these things and I really like them. I like having access to them. And so when I was getting mentally prepared for this new job, I was like, okay, I still want to be able to meditate. I still want to be able to read. I still want to be able to work out. I still want to meal prep. I still want to, do X, Y, and Z every single day, because having this like idea of a daily routine, a daily practice has become like so important to me, that like these are daily things that like equal my well-being, equal me taking my control back, me taking care of myself. But what that ended up looking like is me getting up at 5 a.m, doing a meditation, reading, getting a workout in, showering, getting dressed, packing a lunch, and getting to work by 7:30. And then I'd work all day, come home, make dinner, walk the dog, like do all the things, get everything laid out for the next day. And it was like every day I'm like hitting the reset button and I'm doing it over and over and over again, to the point where I was like, what am I doing? Like, I am not enjoying any of these things. I am like really feeling like I have to do these things. And if I don't do them, that means I'm not taking good care of myself. If I'm not doing them, that means I'm slipping. That means I'm falling off my game. So there started to be this like really rigid mentality of like, I need to do these things. A lot of the things that I'm doing is like in anticipation of the next day. So always kind of living in the future, coming out of the present moment, coming out of my body, and just like being so cognitively focused on the future. And a really big revelation I had is that I am like so afraid of being tired. So I'm putting all this additional stress on myself so that I can like get a good night's sleep, so I can get have a good day the next day. And so working with this counselor in my group has been really helpful to just start like actually naming some of these things and actually being able to like almost call myself out in a way. And all of it's been like really gentle, and I'm by no means like punishing myself or considering this a failure. It's just like so valuable to start noticing these things and observing like, oh, this what once was, something that I really benefited from is very quickly becoming something that I am forcing myself to do, and I'm not enjoying it anymore. And when I start getting in the cycle of doing things because I think I have to, that can get really mentally draining and it can become really unhealthy. So these last couple of weeks, I've been really trying to just like let the day take shape a little bit more organically. And we set out some goals so that I could like just embrace this idea of being a little bit more flexible, being a little bit more lighthearted, being a little bit more go with the flow. And one of the counseling strategies was to kind of consider like an alter ego, like to kind of think about like, what would your alter ego, who's like totally go with the flow, free spirit, like how would they make choices? And I had said, oh, I'd get off work, my alter ego would get off work, and she would call her husband and she'd be like, hey babe, like what do you want to do tonight? And when I came home and I told Brian like, oh yeah, this is what my alter ego would say, he literally busted out laughing like as if I had just told him the funniest joke he'd ever heard. And the reason it's funny is because that alter ego could not be further from the truth. Like, I have our meals prepped, planned. Like, there is no room for go with the flow, no plan, like just it's all scheduled. It's all planned. I am meal prepping. I am shopping. All our meals are mapped out on the kitchen wall. Like it's all just so regulated. And what was so helpful for me, in sharing that with Brian and like him having a huge laugh at it all was that he was like, I sometimes like going out for lunch and not, packing a lunch with the groceries you've bought. And I like going out for dinner sometimes. And I like being able to make choices. And it was a good opportunity for me to be like, okay, yes, like, yes, I'm the one who does all the grocery shopping and does all the cooking. And so I have like really taken that on, and I take that job seriously. Like I do enjoy cooking for people. I really do much prefer to eat at home, especially with all of my dietary restrictions. It's a little easier, honestly, to eat at home. I'm trying to be like budget conscious, and if we're going to be buying all these groceries, then I want to be able to eat them and like see them not go to waste. And so I think that there is a middle ground. I think that, if Brian is telling me that he likes to eat out for lunch every once in a while, then I can like scale back on some of the lunch things that I'm buying when I go grocery shopping and things like that. But I was so regimented and so like I was following all these rules that I'm creating. And as a result, so was Brian. And Brian could not be any like more different than I am, like in that regard. Like we laugh about it all the time. Like I'm like asking him, like, how did you keep yourself alive for all these years before me, like before marrying me? Because like I've just really taken it on. Like I've taken this role of like making all the meals and doing all the grocery shopping, and just like he was saying, like, I'll run out of milk, and then the next time I look in the fridge, there's a new milk. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like hyper vigilant, like hyper aware of like making sure that like your needs are taken care of at all times. And what he's telling me is that I don't have to worry about it as much as I am. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to like stop considering his needs and stop ensuring that like our household is kind of running, in a healthy way. But I think I can kind of loosen my grip a little bit and allow myself to figure out what happens if I don't do those things. And it's not even just for Brian. Like, what if I didn't pack my lunch one night and I had to go pick something up at the store? Like, is that the worst case scenario? Yeah, that's the worst case scenario. So it's just been like such a good process for me to, kind of transition out of this like totally open-ended schedule and routine to like hyper diligent and structured and, rigid, to now coming to a little bit more of a middle ground. And so I've just been off for a week. I go back to work tomorrow, and I'm like honestly really excited to go back to work. And what's exciting too is that we will also be breaking for Christmas in just a few weeks. So I kind of see these next few weeks as a way of trialing like a little bit of a like semi routine, like not quite as intense, but like kind of picking out the things that are sort of the top priorities, and acknowledging that that might change day to day. So right now I've like backed off of working out almost completely, and I'm now at a point where I'm like, I actually like want to work in a little bit more movement and activity. Our dog had surgery on his knee 9 weeks ago. And so that has had really, really affected our walks. And that was a huge source of joy for both me and River. We would go on these like 3-mile daily walks. And so for the last 9 weeks or 8 weeks, there had been no walks, like just very, very short walks. But we just went for his 8-week follow-up appointment, and the vet gave us the clear. He's healing really, really well, which was such a relief. And so River and I will be getting out more, which is going to feel really good. And we've already started, and it's been just like so great. But just kind of bringing that back into my life will feel really good and grounding. That was a really good time for me to just like listen to a podcast, or some of my like greatest like creative ideas would come from just like going on those walks and being out in nature with River. And I was working out every day, and I started to kind of resent it and started doing it out of like a guilty feeling. But I'm now kind of in the place where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm actually ready to like lift some weights again and maybe get back on the Peloton and just kind of like see where I'm at every day. Like not every day has to follow the same routine. And that's really what I'm wanting to embrace. I am excited for the holidays and to just like get a little bit crafty and creative around the house. We'll be hosting my family just after Christmas. So it's exciting to just like anticipate our company and think about having my niece and nephew here for the first time, and just thinking about like all the things that we want to do together. And yeah, just like okay, huge news. I wasn't even really thinking about this, but we are buying this house, and this has been in the works for months. We are buying it from our landlord through owner financing. So this is like I think it's becoming more and more popular just with how high interest rates are right now at banks. But essentially, like we are building a contract, or we've built a contract with our landlord to buy the house directly from him and pay him instead of like taking a mortgage out of a bank. And so right now, we've signed the contract, and it's all with the title company right now. And they are just doing some final revisions of the contract just to make sure that everything is legit and that we're not missing anything, and that everything just makes sense. And as soon as they're done doing that, they are going to give us a call, and we will go in and we will sign and we will pay our down payment, and we'll it'll be in our name from like that point on. And we are expecting that to happen like within the next couple weeks. Like it could even be this coming week. I don't know. It's happening. It's like we are in the active process. And so with that, kind of also just like opens this whole new can of worms, like a positive can of worms of what are we going to do with this house? And I mean, obviously a lot of it is financially, but it's also exciting to be like, okay, what do we want this house to be? What do we need it to be? What do we want it to be? And to just have that type of autonomy and control over some of these choices that we haven't necessarily had all the liberties as renters. And so that is another, just like, it just feels really grounding to be like, oh my gosh, like we are going to own this house. And just that idea of stability and permanence is pretty cool. That's still really new, and that has definitely not hit me yet. I don't think it will until everything is signed, and yeah, but that's coming up really soon. So that's just another area where Brian and I have been having lots of different conversations about just the potential of this house. I mean, obviously the cost of this house and what that's going to mean for our finances, which was another big reason why I took this job at the school, is just to have that like steady, secure stream of income, because Brian's business has ebbs and flows with the seasons. And so, yeah, super exciting. And so with all that brings me to the news I kind of want to share. And this is just a very soft way of launching an intention, but it's one that I feel really excited about, I feel really rooted in, and that is that this will be the last episode of season 1 of the People Pleaser podcast. Now, I don't even know what episode we're on, but I've just been going and going and going and going in season 1. That has been season 1. Season 1 has been me figuring this thing out and just showing up unfiltered, authentic, just giving you what I've got. Now, it's really exciting to think that I get to now begin season 2 with where I'm at now and my new intentions. And so my intentions for season 2 is to launch in January 2026. I will be putting out 1 episode per month. So that means that there will be 12 episodes in season 2. Now, I'm going to leave a little bit of wiggle room for bonus episodes. And what I want to really hone in on is I am learning so much in my master's. In a year, I will have a master's in counseling psychology. And I have learned so much. I've learned so much about how to help others, and I've learned so much about myself. And so for season 2, I want to come back to knowledge sharing and skill building. And so for each episode, I want to really hone in on specific topics in and around people pleasing. Now, I know that people pleasing can feel kind of niche. It can feel like you either are or are not a people pleaser. But I think that the root of people pleasing is, tied to trauma, tied to mental health, tied to family systems. There's a lot that is people pleasing adjacent that I hope to break down in season 2. Now, my vision for bonus episodes are for the more informal check-ins, the more just life update type things. And the feedback I've received is that people really like the way I'm just kind of chatty and conversational. And people are wanting something to kind of sink their teeth in that they can actually take away and apply to their life. Now, I think that I'm still going to be me. I'm still going to be imperfect. I'm still going to be learning as I go, but it feels really rooted and grounded and exciting to think about, okay, 12 episodes gives me 12 opportunities to cover 12 topics. And so this is your invitation to DM me on Instagram at Corey Senya with any topic ideas that you have that you would really benefit from or you would be interested in and around people pleasing, mental health, trauma, anxiety, family, relationships, because this podcast is for us. And I really want to continue to create episodes that are helpful and relatable and hopefully offer opportunities to reflect. So this is the final episode of season 1 of the People Pleaser podcast. It has been such a slice, such a journey, such a pleasure to me. And you will catch me in January with season 2. I hope you have a wonderful winter holiday season. I plan on just getting back to me, finding that balance, and I hope that you do the same. I love you so much. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next year. Once again, this is Corey with the People Pleaser Podcast. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. If you like what you heard, please consider leaving a 5-star rating and a review on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Thanks for listening, and I will catch you on the next episode.